This security camera captured a heart-stopping moment that proves how just 1 second of impatience can lead to serious consequences. In the footage, a worker is operating a forklift to retrieve a pallet from a high storage rack. At first, everything appears to go smoothly as the load is lifted and secured. But the situation changes the moment he begins to reverse and turn the vehicle. Instead of slowing down while carrying the elevated load, the operator suddenly makes a sharp turn at excessive speed. With the forks still raised high, the forklift's center of gravity shifts violently to one side. Within seconds, the multi-ton machine loses balance completely. The forklift tips over and crashes onto the warehouse floor, leaving nearby workers stunned by the sudden accident. The loud impact echoes through the workshop. Miraculously, the operator escapes without any serious injuries. But the lesson is clear. When operating a forklift, speed and impatience are the greatest enemies of safety. Never gamble with your life just to save a few seconds on the job. This security footage captured a harsh, real-world lesson about the laws of physics in workplace safety. In the video, a forklift operator is transporting several heavy construction boards across a worksite, moving at a relatively fast speed. The load is large and elevated, but everything seems under control, at least for a moment. Then, in less than 3 seconds, something unexpected happens. The driver suddenly slams on the brakes. The enormous inertia from the heavy load instantly turns against the machine. The force shifts forward, dragging the forklift down and causing it to tip violently. The stacked boards burst loose and crash onto the ground, creating a chaotic scene in a matter of seconds. Caught in the shock of the sudden accident, the operator remains frozen inside the cab, his face filled with disbelief, as if he still hasn't fully processed what just happened. This incident delivers a blunt warning. When carrying heavy loads, sudden braking or sharp maneuvers can turn a forklift into a deadly trap. Always control your speed because when physics takes over, regret often comes too late. This security camera captured a strange yet dangerous moment in the front yard of a house on a scorching midday. After finishing lunch, the man in the video decides to take out his lawnmower and start cleaning up the yard, despite the intense heat that can place extra stress on mechanical equipment. At first, everything appears normal as he pushes the mower across the grass. But after just one pass around the yard, something suddenly goes wrong. A loud bang erupts from the mower's engine, followed by a burst of smoke that quickly fills the air. The explosion is so sudden that the man freezes for a split second before immediately letting go of the machine and running toward the porch to find safety. Fortunately, the situation does not escalate into a major fire. But the incident still serves as an important reminder. Operating mechanical equipment under extreme heat without checking the fuel and cooling systems can be extremely dangerous. Sometimes a simple moment of carelessness can turn an ordinary gardening task into a serious fire hazard right outside your own home. This security footage captured a heart-stopping moment on an airport apron, where even the smallest mistake can lead to enormous consequences. In the video, several ground service vehicles are moving around the aircraft, busy preparing for an upcoming flight. Everything appears to be proceeding according to routine procedures until one small tow vehicle begins approaching the side of the aircraft. Instead of maintaining the required safety distance, the operator drives dangerously close to the wing of the massive plane. Then, in a split second, the inevitable happens. The vehicle strikes the aircraft directly, producing a sharp metallic impact that leaves everyone nearby stunned by the sudden accident. This incident is a clear reminder of how critical it is to strictly follow safety guidelines in restricted airport zones. One moment of lost focus or a small misjudgment of distance can result in serious damage. In environments like this, the consequences go far beyond a simple accident. They can disrupt flight schedules and cause massive financial losses. Never gamble with safety through personal carelessness. On the 25th of February, 2026, in a quiet residential neighborhood, a terrifying incident was captured on security cameras. Right outside a home, a white car was parked and plugged in for charging. At first, everything seemed normal, but suddenly, unusual signs began to appear. Thick white smoke started pouring out from the front of the vehicle, hinting that something was terribly wrong. Within less than 3 seconds, the situation escalated dramatically. A loud explosion erupted, and violent flames instantly engulfed the entire car. The force of the blast is enough to send chills down the spine of anyone watching the footage. Fortunately, no one was standing nearby out of curiosity at that moment. If someone had approached the vehicle, the consequences could have been far more devastating. This incident serves as a serious warning about installing and using home charging systems. Always ensure that electrical equipment meets safety standards and is properly monitored. Because when an electrical fire or short circuit occurs, the line between safety and disaster can be measured in seconds. This video captured a heart-stopping workplace accident inside an industrial warehouse. In the footage, a forklift operator carefully raises the forks high into the air, attempting to retrieve a pallet from the upper storage rack. At first glance, everything appears to follow proper procedure. But the real danger is hidden beneath the load. As the forklift holds the heavy pallet aloft, the enormous pressure begins to strain the stacks of boxes that were being used as support underneath. Suddenly, those lower stacks buckle and collapse. In a split second, the entire structure loses its foundation. The heavy cargo above drops freely to the ground, crashing down with tremendous force and sending dust and debris into the air. The incident unfolds so quickly that the forklift operator can only watch helplessly as the entire load collapses before his eyes. This accident delivers an important lesson. Always check the strength and stability of any materials being used as a base or support. Never underestimate what lies beneath your load, because a weak foundation can turn even the most careful operation into a sudden disaster. This security camera captured a heart-stopping moment in a warehouse yard, where the line between safety and tragedy is thinner than anyone realizes. In the footage, a small group of workers stands together discussing their tasks, completely unaware of what is happening around them. Just behind them, in the darker corner of the warehouse, a forklift continues its routine work, lifting and stacking cargo high above the ground. Then, without warning, the calm moment turns into a nightmare. In a split second, a heavy pallet weighing hundreds of kilograms suddenly slips loose from above and drops straight toward the ground. It slams down with tremendous force, landing less than half a meter from the two workers standing nearby. The distance between life and disaster is barely 50 centimeters. The sharp crash instantly snaps everyone back to reality. For a brief moment, the workers stand frozen in shock, realizing how close they came to a catastrophic injury or worse. Perhaps luck was on their side that day, but the lesson is unmistakable. Never stand beneath or near the operating zone of a forklift or elevated load, because accidents give no warning and luck doesn't always arrive in time to save you. This security camera captured a tense firefighting training session involving a group of trainees. In the footage, a young and enthusiastic trainee holds a fire extinguisher firmly in his hands, bravely stepping forward to extinguish a fire that has been set up for the exercise. But suddenly, something goes wrong. Just as he approaches the flames, a loud explosion erupts without warning, sending a burst of smoke and debris into the air. The unexpected blast instantly turns the training ground into a scene of chaos. Startled by the sudden explosion, everyone nearby panics and runs in different directions, desperately trying to find a safe place to take cover. The powerful bang serves as a stark reminder that fire is always unpredictable, even in a controlled training environment. Fortunately, in this heart-stopping moment, no one was injured. But the incident leaves behind a valuable lesson for every trainee. Always maintain a safe distance and carefully assess surrounding conditions before approaching a fire. Because when dealing with flames, even a practice drill can quickly turn dangerous. This security footage captured a horrifying scene as workers prepared for a routine waste extraction operation. Specialized vehicles and crew members had already arrived at the site, and everything appeared ready for the scheduled task. But while two workers stepped closer together to discuss the next steps, disaster struck in an instant. The storage tank had been filled beyond its safe capacity. Under the immense internal pressure, the metal wall suddenly tore open, ripping apart with a violent burst. Within seconds, a massive wave of waste surged out with unstoppable force, sweeping the two nearby workers more than 10 meters away as stunned co-workers watched in disbelief. The scene quickly descended into chaos as human strength proved powerless against the sheer pressure released from the tank. This incident stands as a costly reminder of the dangers of overfilling storage tanks and failing to properly inspect equipment integrity. A small lapse in monitoring capacity can turn an ordinary workday into a catastrophic workplace accident. It is a hard lesson for anyone responsible for operating waste or chemical storage systems, because when pressure builds beyond control, the consequences can be devastating. This security camera captured a frightening workplace accident during the process of loading equipment onto a truck. In the footage, a worker is using a hydraulic liftgate to raise a small forklift toward the back of the truck. Once the platform reaches the correct height, he steps closer to prepare to drive the machine into the cargo area. But in that critical moment, a deadly mistake occurs. As he reaches out to operate the controls, he accidentally presses the reverse command instead of moving the vehicle forward. The small forklift suddenly rolls backward. The machine's weight pulls the worker off balance, throwing him against the metal liftgate. With nothing supporting it, the forklift loses its footing and crashes straight down to the ground moments later. The violent impact is enough to make anyone watching the footage shudder. This incident serves as a powerful warning. When operating remote controls or heavy machinery, absolute focus on every command is essential. Because sometimes one small mistake, just a single wrong button, can put both your equipment and your life in serious danger. This video captured a horrifying moment in a machinery maintenance area where a small lapse in safety precautions led to a devastating accident. In the footage, a group of workers is fully focused on repairing a piece of equipment. None of them realize that directly above their heads, a heavy block of metal is hanging in the air, supported by a single cable. Then, in a split second, tragedy strikes. The cable suddenly snaps. The massive metal block drops straight down from above, striking one of the workers who is crouched beneath it. The sharp, brutal impact echoes through the area, instantly turning the busy workspace into a scene of chaos. Stunned coworkers rush toward the injured man, desperately trying to help as panic spreads across the workshop. This incident is a chilling reminder. Never work beneath suspended loads. Workplace safety is not something that should rely on luck. A single moment of negligence failing to check lifting equipment or secure a load properly can cost someone their life. This security camera captured a heart-stopping workplace accident during the dismantling of heavy metal structures. In the footage, a team of workers can be seen coordinating with a crane to move a large steel block after it had been successfully detached. Everything appears to be going according to plan. Once preparations are complete, one of the workers signals for the crane operator to begin lifting the load. But less than 3 seconds after the steel block separates from its connection point, disaster strikes. The massive piece of metal suddenly shifts off balance and swings violently, crushing the leg of a worker in a white helmet who is standing far too close. A painful scream echoes across the worksite. Another coworker standing behind him quickly rushes forward, grabbing hold of the injured man to keep him from collapsing and to prevent an even more serious fall. Only after the crane finally stops moving does the scene begin to calm. This incident is a powerful reminder. When lifting heavy loads, safe distance can mean the difference between safety and serious injury. One moment of carelessness, standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, can result in lasting physical pain and devastating consequences. This video, recorded inside an industrial workshop, captured a moment that would make anyone watching hold their breath. In the footage, a worker is performing an extremely dangerous task, removing the steel straps, securing a massive coil of metal. After cutting the first strap without any issues, he moves toward the final one. At this point, you can clearly see that he becomes far more cautious and deliberate. He understands the enormous tension being held inside the tightly wound steel. Then, in a split second, the coil violently springs outward. The sudden release sends the steel whipping outward with tremendous force, more than enough to cause catastrophic injuries. But fortunately, thanks to his heightened awareness and quick reflexes, the worker manages to step back just in time, narrowly escaping what could have been a fatal accident. It's a hard-earned reminder about workplace safety. Being cautious is never excessive when lives are on the line. In this footage, a security camera captures a terrifying moment that perfectly illustrates why no one should ever take railroad crossings lightly. In the video, a car is slowly attempting to drive across the railway tracks, but then something goes terribly wrong. The vehicle's rear wheel suddenly becomes stuck, leaving the car completely immobilized right in the middle of the tracks, directly in the path of danger. The driver panics and desperately presses the accelerator, hoping for some kind of miracle to free the car, but time is already running out. The train's horn blares loudly in the distance, echoing like a warning that disaster is approaching fast. In the end, no miracle comes. The train barrels forward at tremendous speed and slams straight into the car, sending it flying in a violent instant. This incident serves as a powerful reminder for everyone. Never gamble your life against a train. A security camera inside a warehouse captured a shocking internal traffic accident that left viewers stunned. In the footage, the workplace is buzzing with activity as forklifts move in and out, transporting loads non-stop. Outside the warehouse, one operator is lifting a large pallet high into the air and begins reversing to reposition the vehicle. At the very same moment, another forklift inside the warehouse is also backing out, moving at a fairly quick speed. Because neither operator has a clear view of the other, and both fall directly into each other's blind spots, a violent collision occurs almost instantly. The crash happens so suddenly that anyone watching can't help but be shocked by the impact. Miraculously, despite how dangerous the situation was, no one was injured. This incident serves as a powerful reminder. When operating heavy machinery in tight spaces, strict safety procedures and constant awareness are absolutely essential. Even a brief moment of poor visibility or lack of attention can lead to serious accidents. A security camera inside a kitchen captured an extremely dangerous and inexperienced attempt to handle a fire. At the start of the footage, a pot on the stove is already burning intensely. An employee rushes in and quickly turns off the gas, but the flames show no sign of dying down. Panicking, he tries to blow on the fire twice, then even grabs a cutting board and starts fanning it. Unfortunately, these actions only feed the flames, causing them to flare up even more. Then comes a critical mistake. In a moment of confusion, he decides to use water. The instant a small amount of water splashes into the burning pot, a loud explosive burst erupts. Flames surge violently upward, engulfing the kitchen in seconds. This is a painful but crucial lesson. Never use water to extinguish a grease fire. When water hits burning oil, it can trigger a violent fireball exactly like the one seen in this video. A security camera inside a manufacturing workshop captured a horrifying moment no one ever wants to witness. In the footage, a worker is cutting the metal straps securing a massive steel coil. The situation becomes tense as he signals and moves toward the final strap. The moment his cutting tool makes contact, the enormous tension that had been building inside the coil is suddenly released. The steel coil violently bursts outward with incredible speed and destructive force. The worker reacts instantly and tries to run for safety. But the momentum of the steel is simply too powerful. Part of the coil springs out much farther than expected and strikes him directly in the head. The impact is devastating. The man collapses to the ground immediately, leaving nearby co-workers in complete shock. This incident is a harsh reminder. In industrial environments, even a brief lapse in awareness or a small miscalculation in safe distance can come at a terrible cost. Never assume safety is guaranteed. A security camera has captured a serious workplace accident right at a construction site. In the footage, a crane truck can be seen attempting to lift a load that clearly exceeds its safe operating limit. That single moment of overconfidence leads to immediate consequences. As the load rises, the center of gravity suddenly shifts, causing the entire vehicle to lose balance. Within seconds, the crane is violently lifted off the ground and flips over. The enormous weight slams down, completely crushing the front section of the crane. The sound of twisting metal echoes across the site, leaving anyone watching in shock. Fortunately, at the moment the accident occurs, no workers are standing within the danger zone. This incident serves as a costly reminder of why load charts and lifting limits must always be strictly followed. One mistake, one overloaded lift, can easily turn into an irreversible disaster.